Welcome back to Still Unexplained Files. I'm Kevin, alongside my partners in crime, Ken and Maria. Tonight we are diving deep into the history, the haunts, and the hard evidence with the true legend of the paranormal field. For over 30 years, tonight's guest has been cutting through the sensationalism and the television fluff to look at the raw data, the environmental factors, and the deep, unvarnished history of the afterlife. He's a professional musician, the founder of the Louisville Ghost Hunter Society, and the driving force behind some of the most iconic paranormal documentaries ever captured on film, including SYFY's Spooked, Ghosts of Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and The Haunted Boy. But tonight we are turning the page to a brand new chapter. We're kicking things off right here in our own backyard, exploring a world where local heritage, dark history, and lingering spirits collide. Please welcome to the show the one and only rock and roll ghost hunter himself, Keith Age. Keith, welcome to Still Unexplained Files.
Cowabunga, dudes.
You're known as the rock and roll ghost hunter.
Right.
Confirm or deny? Who gave you that name?
Jason Hawes.
It was Jason. All right. I want to make sure.
Early 2000s. And, like I said, I have been playing professionally as a musician since I was 12 years old. And, matter of fact, I just did a thing with Greg Martin from the Kentucky Headhunters. And, we're filming a couple documentaries. One is about the gentleman who taught me how to play. He's still alive and out gigging around. And The other is another local legend named Wayne Young,
Oh yeah,
and he is still alive and out gigging at 83.
yeah,
And Greg Martin, like I said, who is one of in the top 10 blues guitarists in the world, if he's considered that. When he and I've known him since I was 14 years old. Uh, when he heard what I was doing, he said, "Man, I want to be a part of this." He goes, "I'd love to get to play with them," and I was like, "Well, I can arrange that." So he came all the way from Bowling Green just to play some music with us, and we got it filmed, and it's pretty awesome.
Ken, we'll start with you. Go.
Keith, so want to start off with the newest that you're working on. You had been working on Bourbon Spirits. Where is that
Still
at
am.
in your, still am? Everything's still going with Bourbon Spirits. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
No, you're supposed to laugh there.
He said no. Next question. Next question.
All right.
Next.
What? Let's
So,
Maria ask him
No.
something that he'll answer.
No, back to Bourbon Spirits. Ken knows I'm
We
joking. I hope
know.
he knows. I've
Yes,
known him
yes.
for almost 20 years now.
well,
Okay.
actually, since 2004.
All right, over 20 years now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're right because I hadn't done Children of the Grave yet. I just had Spooked,
right.
and yeah, and we started filming that in 2004. Yep. Anyway, uh, Bourbon
Yep.
Spirits. Ken can attest to this. When you're working for a major network, it's all about the ratings and the numbers, period. And they want you to do certain things and act a certain way, and you've got to have drama, and I never cottoned to that at all. And when I started working with the Booth brothers, who made the films, they promised me one thing, and that was if I could get up there and tell you what something was, then we'd do that. If I couldn't, we did that, and that they've always held to that, and I highly respect them for that. And that's why you don't see me on any of my shows go, "Ooh, did you hear that? Oh my God!" No, that's not me, because I'm again a musician from the '70s that the brain cells just ain't there enough for me to go. I should be scared, but I'm not. Uh, I kind of walk right to it, like, "Ooh, is this hot?" You know, and my curiosity. A lot of people. Oh, by the way, Kevin, it's not 30 years. It's almost 50 years now that I've been doing this.
You know what? That's funny because when I was doing my research, I pulled up, I saw 50, and somebody corrected me and said, that's not right. It's closer to 30. And then I went with 30. So I
No,
was right the first time.
yes, you were.
Okay.
In another 3 years, it'll be 50.
Okay.
So it's 47 total. But with Bourbon Spirits, I am not the host. I'm the executive producer. Sometimes, the second unit director. And I've got a little young lady by the name of Shannon Edens and her team that are doing the actual investigations. And, I mean, I'll admit it. Hell, she's cuter and prettier than I am. And
She is cute. I
people,
know her.
yeah,
I've investigated with her.
yeah. Shannon
Really?
is my buddy, and me and her have known each other for a long time. And, you know, we have spent quite a bit of time together through the years. Anyway, um, the whole thing about it is that's my premise for Bourbon Spirits. We wanted to do things locally. We got into a very first film one we filmed is a place that Ken and I tried to get into just because it was supposed to be haunted and it had a great history, and that's the Henry Clay building. I got to get into it, and I had full run of the building. And Ken, that's back when you were producing and directing a lot and doing
Yep.
different things, and we wanted to go in there and do something with it. Uh, and we did capture some pretty good stuff, some thermal stuff that I'm just like, there's no way this can't be real. But that's the thing. I don't go ooga booga. It's a ghost. It's a demon. I look at the actual evidence that we collect. And again, if I can get up there and tell you what it really is, I will tell you that. I don't pull any punches. Ken can attest to that too. As a matter of fact, I've been stabbed over an orb picture once.
Oh,
You remember that? And
Yep.
Ken's
know,
like laughing about it.
well,
That's
I
pretty
didn't at the
sick.
time.
Well,
You know,
stories.
she
Keith has got
buried
Keith
an
has a lot.
8-inch knife in my chest. You know.
Holy cow.
Oh, by the way, I got the knife back. I got it after the trial, and it's now my steak knife.
It's a steak.
Jeez.
That's funny.
That's what he
Kudos.
carves up his ribeye.
Oh yeah, you know it's an 8-inch blade by 2-inch wide. It's serrated on the top, and it's very sharp, and I have totally disinfected it many a time. You know, even though it went into me, so, and whatever I'm cutting now is going to go into me. So there's an irony there, I guess. But that's it. You can't just look at something and take it for face value and go, "That's a ghost. That's a demon." You know, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Can
There's too many people in this field that think that, and they want to get famous, and they think they're gonna get paid a lot of money. And like I said, I've been doing this almost 50 years, and can clearly attest to the fact that paranormal pay sucks.
What pay?
It's the perks that come with
and
it.
you can ask the man who did a lot of my contracts and stuff for me. It sucks. We're not in the union and SAG, so we have no protections, and most of these production companies think, well, they want to be famous. We can hook them in, uh, you know, and a lot of people do that, and that's why the field really isn't taken very seriously by the real true scientists, and that's who needs to be involved in it. We have scratched the surface. We're basically data takers, if you look at it that way, because we go, okay, this has happened. I know there's a phenomena happening, but we don't know what it is. We just, I'm still waiting to catch Satan tap dancing on a table, so I take a picture of it. And I'm waiting for the night that Bob the ghost walks up and goes, "Hi, I'm Bob." That would be the best thing for me.
Can I go?
I know I took the long way around the barn, but sorry.
No, we got plenty of time. We got plenty of barns. Confirm or deny this one. I feel like I'm like conspiracy 101 here. In my research, I'm going back and I found what supposedly was the moment that hooked you. Is the encounter with Henry in your girlfriend's house as a teen? Am I right there?
Yeah, I got thrown through. This is a 1950s house, and something threw me through the 1950 wooden front door, literally through it, and I landed about 6 feet out in the front yard on my back.
Wow.
Good Lord.
And I remember laying there going, fingers, toes, get your air because you can't breathe. And I remember hearing the girlfriend screaming, and I looked up and I could see them in the house. I'm out in the yard, and I went, "That was so effing cool, man! Do it again."
Do it again.
And I've been hooked ever since.
So that is a legit story. Okay. And
So-
did that basically did that kind of lead you to founding the Louisville Ghost Hunter Society?
Well,
Or
eventually, but that was 1980. when that happened.
Okay, so okay,
1979,
gotcha.
1980.
All right, so let's
And I
wait.
didn't,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I didn't start the Louisville Ghost Hunters till 1996.
6, yeah, right. Okay, gotcha.
So Keith, is it true still? I can't remember if somebody tried to debunk this. The Louisville Ghost Hunter Society was one of the first actualized formed societies in America of that nature, correct? For ghost hunting?
We were in the top 30, yeah. Back when I put the LGHS online for the first time, there was 32 ghost hunters investigation units online. 32. That's it. Uh, and a lot of us, when the internet first started really getting popular, that's how we started connecting across, the United States. And that's how Hawes and a lot of us met, John Zaffis. And we got up here and, we were 32. TAPS was 31. And Lord, that was it. But as far as Louisville, the Louisville area, I was the first recognized group. That, and people are going, "Well, why aren't you being quiet about this?" I'm like, "Why? If you want to get people to tell you that, hey, their house is haunted, you want us to come investigate it, you got to let people know you're there." And I've been called a media whore and everything else through the years, but you know, if I hadn't have done what I did the way I did it, we wouldn't have got the great cases. I wouldn't have traveled all over the world several times doing cases, and I mean, I love a lot of the different countries, especially Romania. I love Romania. I love Poneri Castle, which is the true Dracula castle, not the one in town for the tourists. He did stay there, but only as a prisoner when he was a teenager. And the true one is Poneri, where you have to walk up 2,100 steps up a mountain to get to it. And that's where he impaled 21,000 Turkish invading soldiers.
Good old Vlad.
Yeah, and all the nobles and everything of Turkish, he made them walk up those steps to come to his castle to have dinner, and then they had to look at all those 21,000 men.
Is
So,
LGHS still running fully, or did you put it on sort of a half running, like it's still going on today, but not as it once was, meetings wise, etc.?
oh yeah. I mean, at one point when the shows were in its heydays, I had over 10,000 members. Now I keep it under 20. Lord, when you had that many people, if you have more than 20, just the craziness that can go on. Uh, and, you know, if you look at the subject we're on, you do get several crazies. Like I said, I got stabbed over a friggin' orb picture. Uh, Ken and I have met several crazies and had to deal with them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact,
And
I
you used
believe.
to go ahead,
Go ahead.
Keith.
Go ahead.
And part of that, you used to have the top paranormal show in the region for a decade.
Yeah.
Mid South.
Yeah. Well, for almost 20 years. Yeah. I finally retired it after 20 years. And, you know, you started coming to Mid South about the fourth or fifth one when it was really starting to grow. And
Right.
then by the time it was done, we were having over 8,000 to 10,000 people. And I got tired. I couldn't do everything and try to run it. And, and everybody was kind of copying off of me. So it was no longer the big one to go to anymore. And because I didn't just have 4 or 5 guests, I had 30, 40 guests, paranormal guests.
Yep.
And, this was kind of a pride thing. People came, plus they wanted to come party. and we had some hellacious parties.
I'm
Uh,
sure.
when what was the old Marriott over in Hurstburn? I can't think of the name
Ah,
of it.
yeah, that
Yeah.
is
The
Yeah.
the convention center. The
yeah.
last time we were there, they sold $17,000 worth of booze in 2 hours. They had to restock,
You were at
and
the
we
Holiday
had
Inn too.
yeah, uh,
Yeah.
To
yeah,
me, rock and roll and paranormal. I mean, that is like
So in
yeah.
the paranormal world, Keith, what do you know, as things have been going, what do you prefer? What are your favorites? All of it? Is it anything and everything, or do you feel like you're more of a specialist?
Well, I definitely feel like I'm a specialist in the term, ghosts era, era. and but I don't even call it ghosts anymore because we don't know what this is. It's a phenomena, but we don't know what it is. Uh,
Right.
because there's times when you get something intelligent speaking to you and reacting to you, and then there's other times where it's just in a loop
mhm.
and it happens continually at the same time, the exact moment, the exact same thing every time it happens. And but now I am interested in Bigfoot. Uh, not interested in a lot of the people who go, "Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, it's a tree breaking. We're in the woods. Uh, you and I saw
I remember we
something,
went, yeah,
and
down in Eastern
we,
Kentucky.
yeah, and we were looking at trees that were just doubled over. They weren't snapped. They were just bent over, and there was nests on top of them, huge nests and stuff. And then we saw. At first, I said it was a bear, and then we kept looking at it, and it was off in the distance a little bit. It just kind of popped its head up, and the kid goes, "Awful damn big for a bear, man." And yeah, I mean, we ended up walking to where it was, and we were noticing the area around it, and we placed it at what, about 8 foot, something like
Something
that.
like
It
eight
was
feet,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
about
yeah,
8 feet.
and but
Awful
it
big for a
left by the
black
time we
bear.
got there. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and I don't. Neither one of us heard anything about any grizzlies being there. So uh, but I do like it. UFOs, I'm not so much into it, other than the fact I find it really interesting. I am not audacious enough to think that we're the only intelligent life form in this universe or other universes. Uh, in that aspect, I like it. Do I want to go hunting for it? No, not really. It's just like I don't want to be a storm chaser either. I really don't want to die yet. Come close, and have died a few times, but never crossed the final line there.
Wait a minute. If you've died a few times, are we really talking to Keith here? Or are we talking to like an apparition or something ghostly here?
Is
What
he
the hell's
high?
going on? I'm getting there.
He's
I'm working on it.
he's yeah,
I'm working, I'm working on
he's getting close.
it. Yeah,
uh,
let me lean back into your background and philosophy, Keith. Um, it's safe to say you've investigated hundreds, thousands of claims. What are some of the most common false positives you've debunked? You know,
your mind.
that's that's a really it's a really
That's
good
a good one.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fear, adrenaline, and paranoia go a long way to making a ghost appear. Okay,
that's a damn good point.
and
Yes.
if you walk into a place with the mindset of this place is haunted, I'm going to see something. Guess what? You're going to see it, no matter what.
Yep.
Um,
But what keeps you chasing that elusive 1%?
the hope that one day I will see. Hi, I'm Bob. I hope I get to see that one day and actually experience that. Uh, I still have my curiosity, and like I said, even though it's been almost 50 years, uh, like I said, I was hooked. And you've heard the stories of Waverly Hills about the guy getting his head busted open by flying debris.
Heard that. Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And
Yep. That was
Well,
Keith's actually.
let's talk Waverly Hills. It's a nationally recognized paranormal
hotspot.
hotspot. There you go. What are some of the standout experiences there? There was EVP. There's this I've heard of shadow people, physical phenomenon. Uh, any updates on activity since the spooked days, or maybe since property changes?
Well, I tell you what, in 2005, that was my last day up there officially.
Oh, okay.
I'd been there for 5.5 years, and Spooked had just came out and just exploded, and people wanted me here, wanted me there, and I'm like, well, I am done with Waverly Hills. 5.5 years. What started out as a weekend of investigations turned into a tour company that I had no control over, other than the fact that I created it and started it and brainchilded, and wasn't getting anything out of it other than all my time was being given to it. Because at that point, we didn't get to investigate anymore, hardly. It was all run the tours, do the tours. And my last day up there, we were with Fox News, not the local one, but the national Fox News. And Jim Bullitt was actually hosting it. And we got up here, and we'd been there all night, done tours with people, was filming. It was on a Friday morning. It was daylight, and the shop was set up, walking down from the fifth floor to the fourth floor, um, we go through the stairwell and go through the door, and there's a camera, and we're supposed to go to our right and stand next to the wall and do the final interview. And Jim's talking to me, which I've known Jim Bullitt since I was a teenager. So we're good friends. And next thing you know, from the wall right here behind me, this chunk of cement. And Waverly Hills is not made out of plaster. It is made out of cement and horsehair, and very little wood, terracotta, uh, every hard substance you can think of. That's what it's really made out of. And the bones of the place and everything. And this hunk of cement come flying from behind me and just bang right in the back of my head on live TV, and just took me right off of my feet. And I remember kind of going, "Arr," trying to get my head back together. And I'm hearing Jim Bullitt running and screaming. It just scared the hell out of me. And I look up, the cameraman's going, "Say something, do something." And I can't even hardly
Go,
get my,
ow.
yeah.
I was gonna say,
And
owie.
yeah, and there's four or five of my group from the LGHS. They're standing there picking up pieces of stuff, and they're looking at the wall, and I'm like, "Can I get a hand here?" And they're like piecing together, going, "Well, that just flew straight off, and
Mm,
if it fell, it should have went this way instead of went this way with force." And so that was my last, like I said, my last day at Waverly, and my last, I guess it was my last hurrah and the goodbye from the building. But yeah, if you go back and look, most of the original Shadow People stuff, it was shot by me and my group. The EVPs, if you go watch Death Tunnel, which is the film that introduced me to the Booth brothers, yes, it is an independent horror movie. It is not a paranormal investigation documentary style movie. It is a horror movie. And what they used was real EVPs. So when you hear them in the movie, those were actually recorded by us. And the coughing, the gagging, that's not actors. That's what we actually caught on old big reel, recorders we used to lug around with us through that building, and then smaller cassette tape recorders. with those really terrible microphones. Technology had not gotten to us yet. Still not where it needs to be, but it's close. Matter of fact, this is what we use nowadays. This is about the best field mic in the world. I used to use Tascam a lot because that's music. It's what we use, Tascam. Brand we could trust and knew it worked. And I did when they first came out. I started using a lot of their field recorders, but this is Zoom, and they make just phenomenal microphones now. And plus they're under $100, and I like that. As Ken has said, I believe you called me cheap several times, but
That's
he'd say
rude,
cheap, and
kid. That's rude.
I'd say frugal. But
He's frugal.
you know, you know, that's like we went to Eastern State Penitentiary once, and me and Brian Harnwall and Sid Haig and Kane Hodder and another team came in. We were just the ones hosting the event, and this team came in. They were decked out in tens of thousands of dollars of gear, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And they're like, "Only the best for us. We are the elite of the elite." And I'm like, "Of what?
Oh,
What is
Mhm.
the elite of?" And
you said Kane.
they're
Is that's as in Jason, right?
yeah, Kane Hodder,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, just make Okay.
yeah. Kane is a ghost hunter, so is Sig, and then of course a lot of y'all know who Brian Harnwall was, right?
Yep.
Dude, run! Uh,
Yeah.
you know, and I am a firm believer in you do not have to get up here and get the best of the best, the most expensive piece of gear out there. If you can get something, a lot of people go, "Oh, I gotta have a Luminary LX1 recorder." Those suckers are like $3,000 each, and I'm like going, "Wait a minute, this is the same microphones, same technology, under $100. Last longer too. It'll last 6 hours on batteries. The X won't last more than 45 minutes. And that's with 8 AA batteries. This has got 2 AAAs. And I'm like, yeah.
Keith, you mentioned Eastern. Say, list some of the top locations you have investigated with your group
Well,
or your group,
okay.
either or.
Eastern State, I love it. Poasttown Elementary in Middletown, Ohio is one of my favorite places. I get some great stuff out of there. I don't know. Do you know who Roberta Simpson Brown is?
Yes.
The author. I know Ken does. Um, Little old lady, that school teacher could scare the hell out of you just by telling you stories. And
Hmm.
that's when me and my partner JC, our first documentary was called Storyteller, the Roberta Simpson Brown story. And we filmed at Post Town using the stage, not for paranormal, just using the stage, and we lit it up. And we invited 55 people in. They brought their kids, and she told ghost stories. She was only supposed to tell two, and or as she calls them, my haunted stories. Uh, Storytelling was a way of life for several hundred years, and it's a dying art, and she's really good at it. And so she tells her two stories. These people are going nuts, and we're filming her live with two cameras and two audio recorders on both sides of the stage. And so after she got done with the second one, she asked him, says, "Would you like to hear another?" And of course, people going crazy. And I have JC, my partner, is in center stage behind all the people, so he can get the full shot. My camera is stage right, going for a side angle, and then I have my assistant, young lady named Sam, between me and the stage, and she's right there by the mic, by the recorder, the audio recorder. And as the people died down from their clapping and applause, between me and my assistant, which there was nobody there, the crowd was over here. And still, we heard a little girl's voice go when she says, "Do you want to hear another one?" We heard a little voice going, "Yes, please." There's nobody there.
Oh,
Now we go back and listen to the audio recorder. It's there on the audio, you know. But again,
that's
there
the
was
best
nobody
when you
there.
can catch the disembodied voice on
Yeah,
recording.
and again, like I said, we weren't there investigating. We were there shooting her telling stories. So Middletown, Post Town is one of my favorites. Um, I like the Bel Air House up in Ohio. I like it. There's several places in Ohio I really like. Um, the West Virginia Penitentiary. It's you and me went there, didn't we, Ken?
Moundsville.
Moundsville, yeah,
Yeah.
To
yeah.
investigate or
No, I know.
Yes.
I've
serve a
investigated.
sentence
We-
that you all were being bad.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've got a story about Ohio since he loves Ohio, so I'll segue into that for a second. We were in this small, formerly well-known still town that has a hotel, and it was a hunt with a horror con combined. So Keith was up there. He was a guest along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre's John Dugan, who played Grandpa. So we were up there, and I believe it was day 2. We were in this really wonderful motel, and it was
It was Dugan's birthday too.
it was Dugan's birthday,
Oh,
John Dugan's birthday. So Keith is in one bed, John's in the other, and I'm on the opposite side over there. And it was in the morning, and a maid comes in unannounced. Now Keith has a
oh.
weapon under his pillow, and he pulls it out and points it. And the woman looked like she not only saw a ghost, I thought she was about ready to become a ghost. I thought she was going to have a heart attack at that moment. And John Dugan freaked out. He was just panicked. Keith was, as calm as could be, just kind of like almost in a steely-eyed sleep, but awake, like not a good idea for somebody to walk in.
Well, like we said, it was Dugan's birthday the night before,
It was.
and this town was dead,
Oh,
literally
yeah, very
dead.
dead. Literally
They
dead.
moved the highway, and they made it into a major highway like 2 miles away from the town, and it basically killed the town. Because when we were driving through in the daytime, getting to the hotel, we were looking, look at all these buildings boarded up. Look at these houses boarded up. Is there
It was a
anything here?
it was a real ghost town, Keith.
Yeah.
It truly was, you guys. It was sad. It was really there was a sadness to it, a depression to it, but it was haunting for sure.
Yeah. So me and John, we go, we get checked into our hotel room, and John says, "I want to go celebrate." So we go to the front desk, and there's this little kid. I call him little kid, but he was teenager. And John said, "Is there a bar or something around here?" And the guy says, "Yeah, about a mile up the road here." Well, me and John go taking off walking, and no, you guys took us there. You and Myra took us there,
Right.
and then y'all left early.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
we walked back,
You walked back.
and yeah, and we get to the back to the room. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're supposed to have an 8 a.m. wake up, no service. We don't want no one banging on our door or nothing, just till 8 o'clock. And we're we're sitting there, and John's just keyed up and wired. And next thing I know, he pulls a 6 pack of Heineken out. I'm like, "Where the hell did you have that at, man?" And he said, "Oh, I got it at the bar." I'm like, "So I've been carrying you in a 6 pack all the way back to the hotel. Great." And
Perfect.
yeah,
You didn't
so
notice that added weight?
no,
Okay, just
It was dark.
it was dark.
So, we get back there, we drink it. It's now closer to 7 a.m. And John says, okay, I'm tired. Well, he goes and gets his bed. I get in my bed. And I'm laying there trying to drift off. And now I'm wide awake. Or we're pretty much awake. And I hear the door lock, click. Somebody's coming in. I, I did grab the gun. I cocked it, and I'm like this. And this cart comes in. It looked like John called it an airplane cart. That's what it looked like, a stewardess cart. And this little lady who had to be 70 if she was a day. She comes in. You remember the Carol Burnett show with Mrs. Wiggins and
Miss Wiggins.
yeah, and and Tim Conway walks in stuffing like this, and that's what I'm seeing, and I don't say a word. She looks over at John, who's bolted upright, and then she looks at me. She looks at the gun, and then she looks back at me and says, "Excuse me," and she backs out the door. And next thing I know, I hear Ken saying something like, "What's going on? What's wrong? Are you okay?" And then our door's still open, and he comes in and he goes, "Did you kill somebody?" Not yet.
Not yet. Keywords.
Yeah.
She was backing out as I was, because it was 8 o'clock to come get them, and she was backing out, and it was, you could just see her face. Her face was just like, I mean, literally like.
Put yourself in her shoes, Ken.
Oh, I did.
She literally looked at a gun and can walk. I mean, anytime you use a gun is kind of pointing at you.
You have to remember that Myra and I took John and Keith to quite a few places, so I knew something was up. And today we just laugh about it because it's one of the most hilarious stories on the road.
Oh, especially if you hear Dugan tell it.
Oh, Dugan's hilarious when he used to tell that story. Poor John today, he's got more difficulty talking because of his surgeries, but he could really tell a good yarn. He was great. Mm-hmm. Keith, with all your travels everywhere, Europe especially, do you have, and I know it's like picking children, I know you have loves, but do you have a top 5 around the world for you that are your top 5?
We talked about earlier, Poneri Castle is number 1. Okay. I love it. If I had $2 million, it's for sale. And the other, Whitechapel. I loved Whitechapel. I've done that about 7 or 8 times, and actually got to lead a couple tours there. Norman Reedus wanted to go tooling around on his bike show, and I'm like, dude, you don't understand. You can't even walk through there anymore to a lot of these places. It's updated so much, and so you got those 2, and I love Chillingham Castle, and I might be going back. That might be my last overseas trip next year before I totally retire from going overseas. I'm tired of flying. It all depends on what happens with the gas prices here, I guess. But I just turned down a gig at Loch Ness, which has been on my bucket list.
Oh, wow.
30 years. Because, hey, I don't do these things for free. Now investigating somebody's house, yeah, I'll do that for free. But you want me to come and do an event that you're going to charge for? Yeah, you're going to pay me. Sorry if that's...
do we have to pay him tonight, Ken?
Yes, it's coming out of Ken's pocket.
It's coming out of my pocket.
Or what bottle of bourbon do you want?
Or what? Yeah, we'll
send that to you.
Hey, I have been paid in Jack Daniels plenty of times. Trust me.
All right, noted. We got you.
But yeah, and like I said, Chillingham, I'm hopefully getting to go back there one more time. Like I said, Poneri, I'd love to, but after 6 heart attacks, I don't think I'd like to walk up those 2,100.
Holy cow. What?
Don't just throw a number like that out there. Wait a minute. You've had 6? Is that legit? 6.
Yeah.
And you've had a stroke, right, Keith?
Stroke, brain surgery.
Brain surgery.
Let's see, 3 bullet wounds, 122 knife wounds.
Ken, you didn't tell us you were bringing an alien on here tonight.
Hey, he's a biker dude. Come on.
And a biker dude and a rock and roll guy.
Well,
I mean,
that's another thing. Ken reminded me of a minute ago when he was talking about we can get into trouble. A lot of people wanted to test that theory when they come up to these cons and stuff. And
that's I'm sure.
I remember, I can remember you getting really nervous at several times when you thought I was getting ready to start throwing hands.
Oh yeah, there was a couple times. I will say it was at Dragon Con. Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean that was outrageous.
And that was with a very famous actor at the time. And,
yep, that was.
Are you going to name drop?
Yeah, come on. You can't just.
Nope.
All right, well, that a famous actor that narrows it down to about 1 million people. Can you help us?
There's things,
female,
there's things
male.
that I think for me, I'm just not one of those kind of people. It's like always get into naming names with people. I'm just not that kind of a person because I like to move on from stuff. And some of these people, Keith and I can smile about. There's another one I won't even bring up. I'll remind Keith when Keith and I are talking, but it was another thing that happened at Dragon Con, and now it's quite hilarious. It just makes me smile and laugh.
Are you talking about the Hugh Jackman incident?
No, that's another one. But that.
So is this stuff that we're going to have to wait 300 years like the Vatican crap?
Probably.
Yeah,
we got to wait before we can read. Look, come on, guys.
I'm not living another 300 years.
I'll tell you what.
Come on.
I'll tell you the Hugh Jackman story.
Please.
And out of respect for Ken and his wishes, I won't tell you the other ones.
Off air, you will.
Yeah, off.
No.
Back then, what you saw in that picture y'all posted of me, that's how I looked. And if I didn't have my riding jacket on, I had a long leather coat that I wore a lot because it had a lot of pockets and I could carry gear in. And yes, I did wear a lot of leather. I still wear a lot of leather. If you can see right here, leather. And
perfect.
I was outside. We were having issues with Dragon Con, and I was outside smoking a cigarette. I was talking to Ken on the phone, and he's trying to calm me down because I'm ready just to kill. And this guy walked up. Van Helsing had just come out a few months earlier, and
Great
it was
movie.
fairly decent hit.
Yep.
And this guy walks up to me, and if you ever go to Dragon Con, there are so many cosplayers dressed as anything and everything. This guy walks up, he's got a floppy hat on, like that is my floppy hat I was wearing back then. And he's got the long leather vest, the coat and the vest, and that's what I was wearing. And he walks up and sticks his hand out, and I shake it. And he's smiling real big, and I went, "Wow, cool, man, cool Van Helsing." And all of a sudden, his face just stone. And I said, "What's wrong?" He goes, "No, man, I'm you." And I went, "Oh, I'm in good company with Hugh Jackman. I'm cool with that." So that's the Hugh Jackman story.
Yeah. Wow.
The only other person who I have become great friends with and 20 plus year drinking buddy with is Kane Hodder. The first time we met, again, was up in Ohio, and the promoter put me at the wrong table. You had John Dugan on one side of this cloth, and then he put me on the other side. Well, about an hour and a half, I'm sitting there, and doing my stuff and talking to people, and all of a sudden this 6'5" guy walks up, just give me this evil look, and I'm like, great, here we go. And he just staring down at me. He says, "Who the hell are you? And why the hell are you at my table?" And I was like, and I didn't know who he was at the time, and I just, instead of saying the hell, I said, "Who the f are you? And why should I effing care?" And that kind of went. If you know Kane, that didn't settle well with him. Somebody standing up to him, and I'm right in his face back at him, even though he's a good foot taller than me, and well, he's almost a foot taller, and so the promoter come over, and he's all flipping out. He's thinking we're getting ready to throw down and start fighting and everything. Well, me and Kane, after the initial, thing of it, we started getting along, and we were having fun and joking. Well, the promoter put me on the other side of the curtain, and I shared a table with Dugan. And me and Kane, I started throwing paper wads over the thing at Kane. He'd throw it back, and just bugging each other, but having fun. And then I think I threw something. I can't remember what. And next thing I know, this book comes flying through the curtain and lands between me and Dugan, which Dugan got jumps out of his chair. And so as we go through the day, me and Kane would pass each other, and we call each other really vile names and stuff, and we're having fun. And people would go back to the promoter going, "Hey, that biker dude and Kane, they're getting ready to fight." And this guy would come flying over every time, and me and Kane still get a kick out of that and just enjoy it.
For the sake of for great audio, I would not object to you sharing any of those names that you all called each other for a soundbite.
No.
Nah.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on.
All right, let me segue a little bit here. Our residential Shania Twang with her voice hasn't been able to ask any questions, anything, but we got to get the voice on. Come on, Maria, speak it.
You like that Southern Kentucky accent, don't you?
I kind of do.
So I like you.
She's
because I've been quiet.
Yeah. But now she's not going to be. So
yeah, now I'm not going to be. I wanted to
bring it on, darling.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask you, you worked on The Haunted Boy, The Secret Diary of the Exorcist case?
Exorcist Files, yes.
So was that heavy for you to work on? Was the energy different from any normal investigation you've done?
I am not a psychic in any way, shape, or form. I am as psychic as a brick. Even I have some friends that are well-known psychics, and I do trust them, what they say and how they think. There's only been 3 places that I've been to in my whole career where the hair has stood up on the back of my neck, and it just made me go, "Wow, this is heavy." That was a good word you used, heavy.
Mm-hmm.
One was Round Top up in Gettysburg. First time I walked on the battlefield, I was like, "This is awesome. This is cool." A lot of really, there's a lot of energy here. I can feel it. The second was actually at the possessed house. We were the first ones that ever filmed there. And the minute I walked through the front door, the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. And I was like, "Whoa, this is..."
And your face.
No. If you go watch the films, you'll see I just got a goatee.
Did that make you want to back out? Like when you feel that type of energy? Because a lot of people, when they get that sensation, they immediately just say, "I can't do it. I'm gone. I'm done."
No, like I said earlier, I'm a musician from the 70s. I ain't got enough brain cells to really go get the hell out of here. And we caught some amazing stuff that SYFY wouldn't let us keep in the film. They were just going, "Whoa, wow, no, people won't
That
Okay,
play
well,
doesn't
with
no,
it."
no,
surprise
no.
me.
Let's stay there. What did they not allow to keep in? This
The
is to me.
boys,
This is a spoiler alert. But go ahead.
the boys' room was upstairs on the second floor.
Hmm.
At some time, they had cut a hole in the wall and put an outdoor patio deck from that room. Okay. All right. So there's a door there. It's got
Hmm.
9 panels of glass in it. It's February. It is bone chilling cold. Okay. And it's a little room. You have Philip Booth. He is actually stationed in the closet next to that door. Okay. So it's an angle. Door's here. He's here in the closet, but he can't see the door the way camera angles are. All he can see is the room. I am directly across on the other side of the room, standing up against the wall with a thermal camera. Christopher Booth is in the doorway next to Philip, filming the entire room. Greg Myers is standing on this wall next to the door. It is, like I said, it's in the single digits and it's snowing. And that glass, we're watching it, and faces are appearing in the panels of glass, and they're morphing, they're changing. And I'm trying to think, okay, is there some atmospheric change here that I don't know about that can cause this? I can think
So
of heat.
immediately you started trying to debunk what's going
Well,
on.
I start filming it, and so now I'm
Hmm.
filming it in thermal, and it should be just cold. We're getting various different heat signatures in these faces. The one shot, it looks like Jesus Christ, beard, hair, and people are going, well, that's Philip. And again, this door is here. Philip is here, facing this way,
Hmm.
but you can't see him because he's in a closet, and the camera is the only thing sticking out. And so sci-fi's going, well, that's Philip, and we're going,
Hmm.
no, you would get a reflection of the camera, not
Hmm.
Philip. And then it would change into like what looked like a little girl, just various different things, and they wouldn't allow that. Now, what they did allow was while we're standing there filming, Greg Myers, like I said, is up against this wall, and we're filming. He goes, "Is anybody else getting hot in here?" And no, we were freezing. There
Hmm.
was cold air blowing through that door, the door frame, and so just for giggles, I turn my thermal, and of course he lights up, and the girl next to him, she lights up, and then I'm noticing between him and the door, it's lighting up, it's getting warmer.
Hmm.
Originally, it was like 38 degrees on that wall. This is an outside wall, so it should be colder,
Right.
but now it's clicking up, and Greg is like, it's really getting uncomfortable. And then he puts his hand to his neck and he goes, I got to get out of here. And at that point, that wall started registering 400 plus degrees. And the
Oh,
thermal camera
wow.
only went up to 400 Fahrenheit. And I'm like,
That's
whoa,
crazy.
this wall should be melting, you know. But
Mhm.
Chris Booth walked over and put his hand on it. And he goes, it's cold,
Mhm.
And at that point, it all changed. But that all is in the movie, that part there.
Okay.
So I want to ask you this too, and then this will be my last question. How does that affect? Did that affect you? Like, did you think about that a lot? And did it affect other people there? Like they couldn't comprehend it. That was something that just drove them kind of nuts, and they didn't want to
Well,
do this again.
Mm.
I tell you what, uh, me personally, no. I was just like, awesome. This is cool. We're getting some great stuff. Greg Myers, not only was he getting hot, and if you go look at the film, you'll
Hmm.
see there are two welts on his side of his neck where the door was. It looks like an X. Well,
Oh, wow.
we're dealing with the Catholic values and Catholicism and everything else. And this is the house of the exorcist, the actual house where everything happened.
Hmm.
And Chris Booth says, well, it's an X. And I was like, you know what it reminds me of? And he says, what's that? And I said, I'm taking a leap here. I said, they really didn't put people on crosses, like a T. They put them on X's.
The X, yeah.
Yeah. I said, that's
yeah,
what that reminds me of.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a good
Because
point.
that's what we were discussing.
Yeah.
Had a psychic in there, and she was talking about old time religion and things from the BC era and all this other stuff, and that was just what was being talked about. And this was after all the faces in the windows.
Right.
Oh, that's another thing. Where that deck was, where that door led to,
Hmm.
there is no more deck. So nobody could have been standing on the other side of that
Oh,
doorway. Because
okay.
we're
Okay.
second floor. And the deck is gone. So,
Wow.
like I said, just weird things.
We gotta
But
have Keith.
let me say one last thing. Again, if you're in it because you saw a TV show and you thought that was cool, that's great. Just remember, before every show comes on, there's a disclaimer that says for entertainment purposes only. Okay?
Yep.
All right. If you really want to ghost hunt, you got to keep one thing in mind. Not everything is paranormal.
I'm with you.
Definitely 100%.
Not every light in the sky is a UFO. Not every bump in the night is,
Hmm.
some ghost.
It is some type of phenomena. We just don't know what it is yet.
But we don't know what it is.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna start winding this down, but I want to bring in, because I'm such a music guy, Maria. Actually, we all are, and I want to give your props to the whole music thing. Keith, am I right in saying you've been a professional musician for a long time, playing bass? Correct. Right. So in a lot of ways, playing bass is all about feeling and controlling the low frequency vibrations in a room.
Right.
Do you think your musical background trained your ears or your senses to pick up on, this like environmental shifts during an investigation?
I don't feel things like that.
Okay.
Yes, I think my musical upbringing has a lot to do with it, but so does me being a cop. Uh,
Well, hell, I forgot you were a cop.
yeah, and all that comes into play.
Uh-huh.
Ken and I were having a discussion a week or two ago about the string theory, which is based on
Mm.
music and notes
Mhm.
and different things.
Yes.
And there's so many different things out there. Music does play a big part of.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's some correlation there. We just haven't found it yet.
I'll segue to Ken, Maria. Final
I
questions.
just want to say, for all the listeners out there, as we grow, people like Keith is a highly respected. I've always appreciated his well thought out, balanced, and rationale when it comes to this field. He has been a true leader all of these years, a solid individual, and we look forward to having Keith on again for sure.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
And the next time I'm in Louisville, and with the four of us can get together, you and I will drink bourbon, and the other two can do whatever they want to.
See, I told you I liked her.
Wait, why can't we drink bourbon too?
Because she's cuter than you are. Are you kidding me?
Okay, she's got. You're right.
He would
Keith
put me
is
on the
right.
back. He would put me on the back of his motorcycle before you would.
Oh, I'm definitely liking her.
You know what, Maria, as your dude, seeing you on the back of a motorcycle, I'm all for that.
That's pretty hot visual, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that is a nice visual. Yeah, hook us up, Keith. We good.
It
right.
works for me.
Yeah. Ken, take
Thanks,
us home,
Keith,
brother.
and we look forward to having you back on Still Unexplained Files in the future.
I'd love to come back. Thank y'all for having me. Maria, it's very nice meeting you. I know I've been messing with you a little bit, but like I have enjoyed
Oh,
talking to you.
that's okay. It'll get better when we're in person. Just
Yep.
say.
Damn, I really like her now. Kevin, like I said, brother, at the top of the show, it's been a long time. It's good to see you. Ken, you're my buddy. We talk all the time. You know.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, same here. And get with me on those dates we were talking about. Because
Will do.
my
Will
dates
do.
are filling up.
Will do.
And again, thank y'all for having me on. I've had a good time.
Appreciate it, Keith. It's always a pleasure.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
Still unexplained.
Still unexplained.
Hasta la
Cheers.
vista.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Thanks for joining us this week. We look forward to what awaits you next time on the Still Unexplained Files. We'll see you then.